Hi YouTube. I'm trying to go live on YouTube and Instagram at the same time. See how this goes. Yeah. Ooh. Hi Princess Gracie. Hi Nonikesh. Hi everyone. So today I'm trying to see if I can speak to should Nigeria join BRISC? If you don't know what BRICS is an alliance between, I think B stands for, oh my God, what's BRISC again? B stands for, don't worry, B will come to me. But then there is R, which is Russia. There is I, which is India. Then S is South Africa. C is China. I've forgotten what B stands for. What's B? What's B? God. So I don't know what B stands for again in BRISC. If anybody know, you can just help me. So these are the 5 countries that started this will I say alliance or will I say alignment or whatever. So this is in order to sort of fight off the US monopoly of, being the standard of market between countries. Now Nigeria is contemplating on whether to join BRISC to sort of fight off the whole so most countries back up their economy with the dollar, basically. So it makes the American dollar to be stronger. So because America made Russia a pariah state because of the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war, Russia, in response to that, created BRISC. I don't know what B stands for. So funny. I don't know what does B in BRISC stand for. For those who are conversant, I don't know how. I just forgot it. Forget it. I don't think it's Belarus. I think it's a country that starts with B, but it's not coming to my head. So now, should Nigeria join? Somebody was telling me that Nigeria have actually formally applied, or they've gone to Russia to apply to join BRISC. A lot of African countries are joining. A lot of African countries are moving away from the Western world. In previous lives, I've said that we should pay off all our debts before we join BRISC. And somebody was saying to me, if BRISC can give Nigeria what they are owing, which is about $78 billion, right? If they can give Nigeria at the point of joining, because apparently BRISC or Russia is offering to African countries loans that are 0% in terms of repayments, right? So let's say they give Nigeria $78 billion. Then Nigeria could just go to IMF, pay that off, and then know that they are now... And the good thing with BRISC is that it's backed by gold, if I'm not mistaken. So it sort of probably works better than what the US has in place for most African countries, or most global countries, not just Africa. Because everybody uses dollar to trade. So people are trying to move away from that. So if you are doing business between, say, for example, Russia and China, they use the yen, right? They use the yen, which is which is the Chinese language. So, should Nigeria join BRISC? Now, I watched Mr. Falana, who has been the advocate of Nigeria joining BRISC, on Sheun Politics Today on channels yesterday. And he was speaking to the electricity tariff issue, which is going on in Nigeria right now, which I've also done a live on, saying that we should not be listening to IMF. But as far as we are owing IMF, right? IMF will impose things to us. They will tell us to pay some things, or they will impose some policies to us, like what we are seeing now. So the whole electric tariff that's just gone up, or that is going up now, was IMF that said to Nigeria to do that. And the problem is, because you are owing them, they can, as much as control the economy of your country, they could just tell your country what to do. So, BRISC is an alternative, yes. But I'm also very careful for us jumping from one person and thinking we're jumping to a savior, and then later find out that we've made another bad decision. And the reason I say this is that somebody asked a very important question on one of the lives I joined the other day. He says, because I asked them a simple question, I said, between Britain, China, and Russia, who do you think Nigeria should do business with or make their ally? Should we stay the way we are, because right now we belong to Britain? Or should we move on to join China and Russia? And all three of us debated, and we came back to the devil we know is better than the angel we don't know. And the truth remains that, honestly, the British did not just colonize Nigeria, they colonized a lot of countries. And these countries are doing better than Nigeria. So it's not really a colonialism issue here. But still, if we had good leaders, it might not be a problem. But in the case that we have corrupt leaders, how do we then deal with these issues? Do you understand? That is the problem. In a case whereby these countries know that your leaders are corrupt, why then do they keep giving them money? Which of course they know they will loot. But then in the case of China, they prefer to come and build an infrastructure for us. So they built a railway for us. We don't do so much business with Russia because Russia is like a self-sufficient country, so to speak. Almost they have vast land, they have oil, they have gas, they are supplying the whole of Europe and America, gas and oil. They have almost everything. They have the technical know-how, they have the plants, they can build anything, they can build weaponry, they can build. In fact, Russia is one country that is self-sufficient. They can land in the space, they can go to the moon, they can. So when you come to any country, if you come to a country that can survive, they can survive. And also they have alliance with, if you think of BRISC, yeah, just Russia, India, and China alone, 3 countries make up more than half of the whole world population. Because China and India are over 1 billion people, right? Then add to Russia. And they are the East versus West. Now, West, you talk about the big economies, you talk about the biggest brother, America, you talk about the biggest ally, UK, you talk about Germany, you talk about France. These are the West. Now, IMF is heavily sponsored by America, though America is owing in trillions. But what we need to understand is our bad leadership. Of course, everything you do have a consequence. So all this while that we've been looting money and wasting money, there is a consequence to that. And that consequence is that somebody has to pay back all these debts, right? And in the case we haven't paid back all these debts, it affects what we do. These countries can control us, which is what we are saying. They are the ones that said, okay, you guys are not meeting up with your debts. You're not paying back you're not financing your loans. You have to do away with subsidy. They stopped for subsidy. They came back. They said, electricity, you are subsidizing a lot. Nyoski, well done. So he says that, we have to do away with our tariff for electricity. Now, what Mr. Falana was saying on channels is that the same subsidy that we are claiming that IMF told us to remove, which he came on air and said that we shouldn't listen to IMF because IMF does not care about the plight of Nigerians or poor Nigerians. IMF enjoying this. Adedotun, thank you. Guys, I am also live for the first time on YouTube. So I had 2 phones now, so which is good. So I have 2 people view me on YouTube, which is good. I really like that. So thank you, Adedotun. So now, because IMF has borrowed us money, they are pinpointing us. They are ping-ponging. What ping-pong tennis. They are playing us like tennis, whatever they like. But they don't care about Nigerians. Do you understand? It's not their interest that Nigerians, are living a better life, and that's why they will say hike the price of electricity. Now, what Mr. Falana is saying is that since the government did not listen to him, Onyeka, the ministry is growing, my brother. Well done. So now, since they didn't listen to him and the federal government has listened to IMF, of course, we are owing them money, and the money is not small. Okay, join me soon, brother. So the money is not small. You're talking about 77 or let's say $78 billion. Dollars, not naira. Do you understand? So, of course, if they tell us to jump, we'll be jumping. Now, Mr. Falana says the law as far as electricity is concerned, is that Olu, the price will not affect 85% of Nigeria. They are still under subsidy. No. It is coming. They are starting from band A, but that band A that they are starting from, which they are claiming they are giving 20 hours of electricity. Not only did some people confirm that they have received the letter of the hike, but they don't even receive up to 20 hours. Adon Malik, right, who has been coming to channels, have said that no part of Nigeria, he said no part of Nigeria enjoys 20 hours of light, right? Mr. Falana said, it's crazy to think like that because, yes, you might, like P2B agreed with that. P2B said, yes, tax those that are rich, tax the rich and subsidize the poor, which is what you are saying, 85% of Nigerians. Yes, of course, I can understand that. But the point Mr. Falana is saying is that, number one, we don't have any subsidy in electricity. Because according to him, in 2022, the finance minister said that we have removed both petrol subsidy and electricity subsidy in Nigeria. And this is the problem I have with the Nigerian government, especially under the APC. They always take us for granted. They lie to us. And that's why 1 minute they say they are debating the school loans, the next minute they said people have signed. Sometimes, what you hear on the news, there is a disconnect to reality. Nigerian government needs to take Nigerians serious. Before you come out and talk, and all these things started from Lai Mohammed, right? He became a liar for the government. Government should be held accountable, especially to what they say. What Mr. Falana was saying is, how can you come and say you've removed subsidy, a whole finance minister, or not just anyhow person, and then some years down the line, you are coming back again to say that you are going to remove subsidy, that all they are doing is to increase tariff. That's all they are doing. I currently enjoy 20 to 22 hours of light where I am at the moment. Mr. Olu, let me tell you something, right? I don't believe anything from any Nigerian government or any Nigerian website. And that is factual. You see, even the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, most of the time, what Nigerian government say, if you go and, it's like the last election. My happiness is that in the last election, the EU observers confirmed and put it on record that election was flawed. So Tinubu was a product of a flawed thing. But if you ask INEC will tell you that the election was fantastic. That's why anything in Nigeria, there's bias in it, and there is no proper sampling of data. Talk more of. In fact, who is keeping record anyway? The person that received this thing, he go to Instablog, go to Tunde Not, you will see it. He said that he even wrote an email challenging that he has not received 20 hours power electricity. Adon Malik said it on TV. Do you understand? Now, the Minister of Power, Adelabu, something like that, Adelabu, he said that we should turn our refrigerators off. How can you say that we are, as Nigerians, that we are wasting energy? People that you are paying based on metering. Is it not what your meter says that you pay? Is it not prepaid? Is it not if you punch in your code from NEPA, it will give you a certain wattage that you've paid for? And once that finishes, it finishes. A band A say you will enjoy 20 hours of light and you are not getting it. Complain and the disco will be sanctioned. Your own is always complain. Who deals with complain? Who deals with complaint in Nigeria? I was duped. I wrote email to police. I wrote email to FCC. I wrote email. Has anybody responded to me? Can we stop all these things that would try and gaslight people, Olu? Can we stop it? If we want a nation that works for all of us, including you, Olu, let's speak truth to power. Let's learn how to speak truth to power. Do you understand? Nobody, how many people have come on TV to say that nobody enjoys 20 hours? Do you know what is 20? We have 24 hours in a day, and you are saying you're enjoying 20. The first time that happened in Abia, people actually came out to say that everything in their fridge is blocking. If not just freezer, everything in the fridge is blocking. And the Home Minister of Power said that we should not turn on AC. For somebody who is paying prepaid, he's already paid. So once the consumption of his electricity finish, his meter will just go to 0. He will do pinion, everything will off. So what concerns his usage to your supply? So what Mr. Falana was saying is that the only thing stipulated in the law was that unless there is efficiency in terms of production and distribution of power, that there should not be an increase in what is the tariff for the premium. Do you understand? Now, he said even before you hike that premium, you have to do consultation with the people. Who consulted with anybody? They just told us in the news the other time that IMF said that we should do it. Before you do it, they've said later that's a band A. Do you know if you want to give 20 hours power supply, you should send it to the industrial estates, so that industries who rely on power for production, people who are running factories, can utilize it. Every country has consumer protection agency. I'm not arguing that Nigeria does not have consumer protection agency, but where is the efficiency of their work? Somebody actually said it the other day, all these things that VDM is doing, there is an agency stipulated to do them. All these fake products that people are having issues with, there is agencies, NAFDAC and the rest, that are supposed to be doing them. And that is my problem with the youth of Nigeria. We have very cerebral people who are fighting for Nigerians, who are fighting for the youth of Nigeria. People like Mr. Femi Falana, SAN, people like Dere Farotimi, people like Aisha Yusuf, all these people on social media. We won't follow those ones, so we won't make them popular. The people that Nigerian youth will follow and make popular are people like VDM, that wear piercing on the nose and whatever, and pierce everywhere, and plait hair, and not be like somebody who is an agboro with big chest and singlet. They will go and follow Portable, that will spray hair, do like mad person. We will leave people that are helping us. Look at what Mr. Falana is doing. Look at how many cases that man is filing against the federal government. Look at how many pro bono cases that man is taking that time to do. We will not follow those ones. We will not follow Aisha Yusuf. We will not follow Dele Falotimi. We will not follow Mr. Falana. We will not follow those who have sound mind. William Suchembadem. People who can speak sensibly. We will go and follow nonsense, ridiculously. I don't know. Anybody that doesn't make sense in Nigeria, that's what we will go and follow. I know how many cases Mr. Falana has filed against federal. Anytime he sees, he will study. He said he has studied that electoral law. He said there is no efficiency. Do you know how much Obasanjo injected into power sector? I remember hearing that ridiculous amount when Obasanjo was in power, that they are investing into power. Now all they are telling us is that it's the Genco. Now out of the Genco, that some people will come on air and say it's 11,000. What Ado Malik actually said was that it's only 4,000 megamass. That is what Nigeria is enjoying. 4,000 megawatts. That is what Nigeria is using as a country. The most populous black nation is using only 4,000. Now, Adam Malik said that in Egypt, they have generated close to, was it 20 or 30,000 or something around, I think it was like 12, right? The same Siemens. The same Siemens that Chimamanda was asking the question when he went to Germany and said to Angela Merkel, why is it that Siemens is not doing what they are doing in Egypt for Nigeria? Do you understand? Why is Nigeria's case always so unique? Why is it that Nigeria's case is always so unique? South Africa is enjoying 80,000 megawatts. South Africa is using a combination of coal, hydro, and solar. What is Nigeria using? Now, the same Nigeria, Ado Malik said, in Adamawa, which is part of Nigeria, in the core north, Yola, they are producing how many thousand this thing that they are sending out to other African countries and even Europeans. The same UK that I am in are still contracting to North Africa to do what? To get solar energy for UK. Why can't Nigeria? Look at the way Ado Malik said it. He said, and this is factual because even Mr. Femi Falana said the same thing. Nigeria should look into diversifying power generation, right? You don't just rely on hydropower, which is Kainji Dam, for how many years? And you are building houses. How many houses? You see, this is why I say we don't keep record. If we keep record, the first question is, how many houses does Ministry of Lands know that we've built? Or Ministry of Housing know that Nigeria built, at least on average every year? Bro, where you don't have enough power, it is a very good concept to have different band until our capacity increases. You don't even understand you don't even understand how it works. You don't even understand how it works, Olu. As you are building houses, you will be telling all those people that as you are building houses, they are supposed to be providing transformers. They're supposed to be providing high tensions. They're supposed to be providing all these discos and transmission, this thing. Not you just be building house, building house, building house. All this building, all these new houses are being burdened on existing infrastructure that have not been developed. And Nigeria don't have maintenance culture. Do you know that, for example, in the UK, if we have one national blackout, it's treated as a national security. It's a national security breach because a lot of things will go down, a lot of data warehouses will go down, a lot of places will go down. They said in South Africa that they have built, they are building Nioski, let me accept you, a UK a battery reservation, this thing, where if excess of generated electricity is produced, they will send it to that battery system. So in case of a failure, it will go to those batteries, and when there is downtime, they can tap electricity from those batteries again. Nigeria doesn't even have a single mechanism. Talk more of having a backup. And our own electricity failed in how many years of APC? More than 68 times. Nigeria is a shame Nigeria is a shame of a country. Nigeria needs to be colonized, not even by the British, but by South Africa, another African country. That is how bad Nigeria is. Nigeria is so bad that your national grid collapsed 68 times. That means the whole country no power. That means your aerospace, your navy. I don't even know if we have any space monitoring, whatever. The request is not coming. Okay, let me try adding you from here. Oh God, Nioski, just send another request. Go out and come back and send another request. I'm accepting you, but it's not going on. So Nigeria take things with alacrity, doing the wrong things. Do you understand? Hello, my brother.
Hello, bro. How are you?
I'm good. What do you have to say? I mean, the topic was about BRISC, but I'm bringing in the whole electricity into it because these are things that we've not seen the product of, being part of, or being in alliance with countries like UK or US, because these people have ability to say, okay, Nigeria, what do you guys need? You need a power plant, Abi. They build it for us. Instead, what you'll be hearing is that UK has given Nigeria $100 billion or this one, only money. And they know that these people in power are using this money to enrich themselves. Okay, just like the Chinese came and built railway for us. I'm not saying China is a good alternative or Russia, because we know what Russia is doing in Congo. Do you understand? In fact, the president of Rwanda said today, I was watching African Stream as well, they were discussing it today, that a lot of Congo copper, cobalt, and all these minerals pass through Rwanda, but does not stop in Rwanda. That Rwanda is just a pathway that it ends up in Russia, Israel, Belgium, and which other country did he mention again? Do you understand? So I'm not going to say Russia is, because Russia is now showing us a different or more friendly attitude, let's go and jump on them. But the question is, why can we not solve a simple problem like power? And does it make sense for us to go and join BRISC when we are owing IMF about $78 billion? Because these are the ones controlling us, telling Nigeria want to remove subsidy from electricity, want to remove subsidy from power, even though that the poor masses are unable to survive. We are suffering, yet they are telling us because they don't care. As a matter of fact, they have to protect their interests and their investors' money. Go ahead.
Thank you for bringing me on. You see, it's a complicated kettle of soup, if you get what I mean. And I think we owe IMF money and would always owe IMF money. And like I said, there is, in all of this, there's a capping, which is to say that the development of some parts of the world would lead to the, decline of some other parts of the world. There are some countries, I don't want to be mentioning names, but I know you understand what I'm saying. So there's going to be a policy around the fact that some people have to be kept at the bottom rung of the ladder. Because when you climb up the ladder, because you have to, we all have to think about this game as a plus and minus game. It's a zero-sum game. We cannot all grow together. We can all, it's practically impossible for all of us to be good together. Let me paint an analogy, and this is just in reference to, I'm just trying to paint the reason why we can all be great at the same time, so that we can now go back to the original conversation. You can check the United States of America alone. This is just the statistics that can be verified. Has a population of about 350 million. Yet they consume 20% of the resources of the world, and the world has about 8 billion persons. So if a country, just one country, America, 350 million people, use up 20% of the entire world resources, then you would imagine that.
Sorry, but when you say they consume, what does that mean? Do you mean the companies there utilize those resources to produce back for the whole world? Because there is it's not possible for 350 million people to eat what 8 billion people are supposed to eat.
It's not just about
so
eating.
I'm sorry, 20% anyway, but how does that work?
It's not just about eating. It's about the consumption, the way they use things, sometimes the waste, and in fact what they use in generating electricity, and see this is a really very sensitive topic. If we must talk about the greatness of Africa, it's a very, very sensitive topic, because it is very, very glaring that there are forces that need to keep Africa the way it is. So here's what I'm saying. What I'm trying to tell you is that there's a way that the polity works where most resources end up in their backyard. And this is not to say that they have come and steal it, you understand? But there's a way the dynamics work that most things will end in their backyard. So
what is happening in Congo is actually stealing. But go ahead.
We wouldn't call it stealing, because at the end of the day, it's some of the leaders of those countries that go and bargain with these people that come around.
No, what they do is that they form little militia groups. It's like what is happening in Nigeria with Boko Haram. Where do they get all those weaponry from? Those sophisticated weapons that are bigger than what our police and military have. But nobody wants to talk about it. But actually, in the actual sense, when you see those guys that look tattered and hungry, the kind of weaponry they have can only come from one place. Now, which country produces those weapons?
But the question you have to ask again now is that, are you going to tell me that the Nigerian government does not know about some of these things that go on?
They probably know.
They do. No, it's not like probably. No, there's not like there's no probability here. They do. If the Nigerian government wants to wipe out Boko Haram today within 1 month, it's possible. But there are forces that are even bigger than the government that must. This thing that we call independence was replaced by some level of control, by some outside forces, and that's one thing. And that's one of the reasons why.
So that's what I'm asking. So by Nigeria going to Russia, do you think it's a good? Do you think? What is your take on that? That's what I'm asking, because even the whole of Africa is waking up, brother. Because we cannot keep being slaves for the longest time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We've already, our forefathers and our fathers have already suffered this. So how do we start emancipating ourselves? A lot of African countries are waking up. You see what happened in Senegal. You see what happened in Burkina Faso. Some countries are shifting to that east, that Russia. Do you understand? So should we follow suit? Should we pay? Because I'm of the opinion that if we really want to live, let's live clean. You can't own Union Bank and be going to bank with First Bank. Pay back Union Bank, then come out and say, okay, we'll finish business. Thank you for doing, it was nice doing business with you. Then you go and register a new account with First Bank.
But the question I'll ask you, no, I'll let you just continue. I just want to chip in a question, which is, do you think it's possible for Nigeria to pay our debts? And then even if...
Yeah, OBJ did it now.
How? OBJ did not pay our debts?
I said the exact same thing to somebody yesterday. You know what he said? Forget corruption and criminality. Nigeria is making more than that money in a month.
It's a lie. It's a lie.
Brother, do you know that up till now, we don't know how much crude Nigeria consumes in a day?
We know.
And we still don't know the quantity produced. They say we are not meeting OPEC, but we know that in the pipeline, there is so many counterfeit, whatever, bunkering happening.
There's
So if Nigerians are true to themselves, and I'm talking about from top to down, both government and private people, if we are true to ourselves, they can pay that. Obasanjo did it now. They forgive what they forgave.
They forgave. Obasanjo did not pay that money. They forgave us the money.
They forgive what they forgave, but at the same time, when they're saying they are forgiving, there's something else going on. No? Don't just think they are forgiving.
I would agree with you. I would agree with you. See, if I think that let me say this thing. This thing might be a little. It might sound a little somehow. Do you know that if corruption ends in Nigeria today, we are going to have more people in poverty than we presently do?
How?
Because a lot of people's means of livelihood and survival is based on this corruption.
I don't think so.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Do you know that at this point in time in Nigeria, the system should not be working anymore? We shouldn't have in Nigeria, like at this point. This is not to incite anybody. This is not to say that there should be a war.
No, it's factual. It's factual. A lot of people are thinking, why is it that Nigeria has not even gone to
like,
that
why
yet?
And why is anyone not complaining? Because I can't get why the minimum wage.
You're complaining. The only thing that is, listen, what you need to understand is that even amongst us, when they suffer the thing, we tell ourselves, say, if you talk, they will shoot you.
Okay.
If you listen to our musicians, our activists, they will tell you if you talk. Do you understand? So they show examples with people who talk. Show examples.
My brother, you know the question I want to ask you. Let's do the math. Brother, how many of our population is earning above 100K? How are people now surviving? Well, like I'm not saying that.
Listen to this. They said that over 98% don't have up to 500 in account. And that's including those abroad. Though. So if you now see that it's only 2% that have 500,000 and above of 220 million, or let's say 200. Somebody said even Nigeria has crossed 400 million mark. We don't know how to do that. Census have been long gone, and they are scared of doing another census again. So if you put that in perspective, that's to tell you that Nigeria is everybody's almost poor. In fact, everybody.
Do you know the question? Do you know that in the UK that you are now, you know how you're going to table your life where whatever income you are making matches whatever expenses that you are churning out? My question is, how are people surviving on whatever they are earning in Nigeria? That's the question. I'm not saying that they should come out and
No. They are not surviving. That's why they are sending psychologists to come out and tell you to eat one. Who told you can eat 3 square meal, that you can survive with 1 square meal? Yeah, people. In the midst of that, they are still increasing the electric tariff. But
that's what I'm saying.
But then Nigeria is this kind of country whereby, I went home, right? So when I went home, I discovered one thing in the East. Most people that have cars don't drive it anymore because of fuel.
Wow.
Is that bad? Most people that have cars don't drive it anymore. So what they do is that they use alternative means of transportation. So that's one thing. So Nigerians are known for adaptability. That anywhere we go, we can adapt. No matter how you beat us, we will bend. We will stay like that. So that is one of the tools that I nearly call them the devils. The government is using. Do you understand? Now, another thing that is sustaining Nigeria is the begging mentality. Our police will beg. Our doctors will. Let me remove doctors. Our police, from airports, anywhere you go, they are begging. So now the main factor why Nigerians have not gone into that as yet is purely because of those abroad. They are Broderians. So if you come online, by the time you beg 100 people, maybe one person will send you 2,000 or 5,000. I mean, you are in Ireland, so you know exactly what I'm saying. I'm sure you are sponsoring some people. That is the simple reason why Nigeria has not gone mental yet. Because if Nigerians have the kind of mentality white people have, whereby you're on your own or you go to government, my brother, Nigeria would have gone to us by now.
What I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, that if this corruption ends, police cannot collect money, you cannot beg for money, nobody will give you money, more people will be in poverty. That's exactly where.
No, but if you say if corruption ends, that means that money will be sent to the good of the people.
How? Do you think Nigeria is a rich country?
No. What I'm saying in essence is that for corruption to end, it means people will not steal public funds anymore. They will actually utilize that public funds for public infrastructure, right? And public development. So that's what I'm saying. That money will be rechanneled to somewhere else, which is why we wanted a P2B that can do that or give us that. Now, if corruption ends, it will affect some people. Like when they said they hired some military people in, those guys went to fight for our oil well and all the rest, right?
Yeah.
But those powers that be that know how much they're going to lose fought back, right? Even if it meant killing people for that, for for the security of the whole country. That's what I'm trying to say. So if corruption ends, the rich people will feel it. They will feel it. They will feel the pain. But it's like this electricity hike now. It's not going to benefit us because, like Mr. Falana said, we have been investing money into darkness.
Yeah.
Do you understand? But if that money was not invested into those places and things are the way it is, you say, okay, fair enough, the money, no investment have gone in. That money could have been channeled into something else. So if there was no corruption, government could have done good. And like Onyeka said, there will be employment, there will be good education. Corruption only favors a few, who are in power. That's what I thought.
Like, see, where we have to start from is how much our entire budget is. See, let me tell you something. If you calculate Nigerian budget and multiply it by 3, let's say we even make 3 times whatever money we are making, and we do our budget based on 3 times our present budget, brother. Do you know that the UK that you are in? Do you know the way you know that the country is going to be okay is by using the per capita income, and the amount the country is expected to spend in a year divided by the population. The per capita in the UK cannot be less than £50,000 per individual.
No. Okay. There is something I want you to understand. Government is a continuum, right? So it is not just the budget of 1 year that survives a country.
Yes.
You build on what is existing. Do you understand? You build on what is existing. Kid auspicious, yes, BRISC. Please, who remembers what B in BRISC stands for? What's the first country?
Is it not Brazil?
Sorry, thank you, Brazil. Thank you. I've been thinking, I forgot it. Yeah. So now you build on what is existing. So, like right now, we have we have a progress in, say, for example, airpiece. Yeah. Now, next year's budget is going to build on that. We are building on what has been done in Third Mainland Bridge. We are building on the second Niger Bridge. We are building on. So it's not just that that capital we are spending for that year that survives a country. The same thing with the UK. The UK have been a strong economy for years, that they recorded 2 recessions back to back, but it's just little minus, like little negative figure, right? That's why they are able to still
hold together,
contain it, because there is a continuum. So although that people are not happy with that conservative government, it's not going to shake off everything, because, and somebody was saying that even if a little kid come to be an American's president today, America will still be strong because it's a system that is so strong. So in Nigeria, all we need to do is to start saying the truth from today. Before you know it, things will take a good shape. And that's why immediately Alex Otti came in a state that has been the worst off in the whole Southeast, automatically became the best state in the whole Southeast.
But do you know the question I want to ask you and what I want to establish? Do you think our leaders don't know the right thing?
They know, but the biggest problem that we have in our leadership is, I dare say, political parties. Because the thing is, when you know that everybody surrounding you are after that same cake, that same 400 billion that you're going to get in a month, or that same 300 billion, depending on what state we're talking about, right? So everybody knows how much you're getting. They want to get their own share. Those who sponsored your campaign wants to get a share. It becomes a problem. But look at Alex Otti. Alex Otti came from Labour Party as an underdog, and that woman from that professor from INEC refused, and that's how he got. So he doesn't have any godfather. But look at his predecessors. They had godfathers. Do you understand? What is happening in Port Harcourt today? Godfatherism.
You see, this issue of BRICS and whether we should, follow Russia and the rest is, I wouldn't be in the position to be able to say that this is what pays us, because there are risks, there are consequences, and there are things that need to be considered. As a country, every individual, just like the way you are, you will definitely be selfish in terms of the kind of job that you choose, where you live, just to make sure that your family is in the best position that it can be. What I'm trying to say is that as if I become the Nigerian president today, I would do what's in the best interest of Nigeria without batting an eye.
What is that best interest? That's the conversation. Because as a president of Nigeria, you are faced with a lot of advice from different angles. In fact, sometimes the advice are contagious, like not contagious. The advice is antagonizing. So this person will say join BRISC. This person will say don't join BRISC. So
why?
what will you do?
You know why?
How do you make that decision? On what basis? Because this is a very new formed alliance. Yes, it looks and appear nice at the minute, right? It looks as if they care about us now. But if you join, you don't join. Are you getting me? If you join, you don't join. If things go haywire tomorrow, maybe you can pull out, maybe you can't. Now, you need to understand that the East are not democracies. These are the same people that are working with Afghanistan government. These are the same people that believe in autocracy. You know how Putin works. These are people that believe, like Chinese government, autocracy. They can control
social media. They can freedom of speech.
Thank you. So if Nigeria starts moving that angle and join the rest of Iran, we are moving from one. This is now world politics. This is where ideology. In Nigeria, there is no ideology. Yes. APC, PDP, LP, everything are the same thing, are the same Yabaru. But once you start going out of Nigeria, and that's why you see South Africa is joining them. And even in the Israel-Gaza war, everybody have picked their sides, because in world politics, there is a lot of ideologies playing out. Very clear ideologies. So if Nigeria starts stepping away from democracy, which in my own opinion has not benefited us, so don't get me wrong.
Yes.
But should we jump into Russia-China alliance, even if the offer was at 78 billion and we pay back IMF? Or should we stay with the devil we know?
Bros, if anybody is going to borrow us this, if there's anybody that wants to give us the 70-something billion to pay and get out of debt and start afresh, I will go for that alternative. Whatever lifts us out of debt, or whatever cuts off whatever allegiance or obligations that we have to anybody, because we are a sovereign country and we should be able to make our decisions. So if anybody is offering us the money to be able to unloose ourselves from anybody's shackle, I would want us to go, because one of the things that you have to consider is that in China now, there's a lot of things happening in China in terms of the freedom of speech, social media control, and all of these things. Honestly, bro, if that's what's going to get us there and going to improve the lives of our people, I wouldn't mind us going that route, honestly. Because
okay, that's your opinion. That's one opinion.
Yeah, that's my opinion.
Right? Now, for me, right, just like we had this discussion on another live, and I said, I still think the British are still the best option. But economically is where we are losing out with this, our current state of whatever we call it, alliance. Do you understand? Economically is where we look stupid. But politically, freedom-wise, freedom of speech and all the kind of, visa and all the rest. How many Nigerians go to Russia, for example? How many Nigerians will go to China and say they are going? Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
No. I wouldn't look at it from the visa aspect.
No,
the visa aspect.
No, I'm making a statement. I'm just trying to look at what can we gain from that bilateral relationship, so to speak.
See, what is going to be the ultimate gain and what is going to be the best gain is for us to become a country that can stand on itself and do things for itself, produce for itself, feed itself, protect itself, without needing any external interference. If that's the only thing that we achieve from whatever allegiance or whatever way we tilt, that's an achievement for me. You understand?
I want you to look at things as a government. Okay. Put yourself like you're in the cabinet of, President Tinubu now, and they're deliberating on these two things, right? We've already established what we are enjoying from UK and America, right? So far, over 60-something years of existence, we don't have good roads. Our democracy have not given us the best leaders. We don't have refinery. We don't have power plants. All we know is that they are bringing their companies, drill our oil, sell it back to us. They don't care if we have plants, So now a lot of that can be blamed at us, our leaders, people that have been in those sectors who have been, do you understand, looting. We saw what the effect of airpeace had on all of these things, right? So economically, we know we're losing that. But that established, if you jump in to join BRISC, right, you are talking about you have to be sharing intelligence with them.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be an alliance with them
Yes.
against whoever their enemies are.
Mm-hmm.
Because don't forget, we joined the British to fight the World War II. Do you understand? So
Mm-hmm.
now, of course, there will be limitations to, because whether you like it or not, our good relationship with the UK and America is why there's loads of Nigerians there studying there. They're
Yeah.
the ones giving us the education. It's not us giving them. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
Nigerians are smart and intelligent, but somebody taught you because before you became smart or you started doing well in
Yeah.
class, somebody gave you visas. A lot of Nigerians are in the UK. That's why Davido can shut O2 down. Whiskey can shut O2 down because there are enough Nigerians to at least fill up, even if it's 80% before other countries can join. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
So we have the numbers here, we have the numbers in America, and they've accepted us to a point that we can do almost any job in America.
Yes.
Some of us are very comfortable in the UK. So our relationship have not all been zero. Does that make sense?
I don't understand what you
Now,
mean.
bearing that in mind, that if you switch to the other side, like South Africa has done, South Africa is even saying they can host Putin. Ultimately, what you are doing is you are going with number one enemy of both America and the UK and
Yes.
Germany and the rest.
Mm-hmm.
So, sorry, maybe not Germany, I withdraw that. France, maybe. Now, if
Even
you
Germany,
now
because Germany is
stylishly,
Germany
stylishly.
is
I
part of
know,
the
I know,
G
I know, I know
G.
why I know why I'm saying leave Germany for now. Do you understand? So, but at the end of the day, what you need to understand is world politics is not a neutral kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
World politics, you have to be ideological. Bam. Do you understand? So, in the case that in Gaza-Israel war, of course, we are Muslim and Christian, so we could not establish. In fact, all of them are guilty, both Gaza and Israeli. But at the same time, when it comes to things like Ukraine, Russia, you have to make a stand.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you are for BRISC, then you've joined that alliance, you've joined that bloc.
Okay.
So, we have to be very, very careful.
Mm.
Now, it's difficult for us to also say that we can be neutral because at the end of the day, you have to join something. This is what Gaddafi was fighting for. If AU, for example, African Union, or even ECOWAS has been able to establish what Gaddafi wanted, which is to back our money with gold or to have one single currency like the euro,
Yeah.
like the dollar have. Do you understand? So had it been we did that, but unfortunately the man is no more. Even Mugabe also was taken away. So we haven't got a strong Pan-Africanist. Do you understand? The man from Rwanda is still trying to save his country. Ruto in Kenya is still trying to save his country. So they've not graduated to that point whereby they can be speaking to Africa to make us very
Mm-hmm.
stable. So Nigeria also is still dealing with elementary issues.
Yes.
So we are in a state whereby we are still trying to find our bearing, and at the same time, we are having to make a big decision of joining one or the other elephant.
Yeah.
So, in as much as we've not gained so much from our alliance with the West, should we now join to the East? Now you've said yes. But at the same time, as we are debating these ones, let us think about how do we deal with our leadership problem?
Mm.
Because that's what matters the
I
most. If you have
see,
a
like what I always say. I think the decision to whether we can take Nigeria to the next level has to be centered around whether we go regional. Because for me, in my own opinion, and I've always said this, I don't think that splitting Nigeria will do us any good. There's a lot of arguments that people will say that, oh, let me go. But I think that the regional government, because what happens is that I don't know about most countries in the world, but most of the countries that I know that are developed, it's the monies that they use in funding the center used to comes from the regions or the state or the even in the UK you will know that they will have the Midlands, they have the they are different. Even the police in the Midlands is different from the police in the south, it's different from the north, even though it's still UK police, but they 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 report to different zones. They are not, of course there's going to be one person at the top who controls everything, but there is it's not like, okay, for example now, for example, policing in Nigeria, which is one of the biggest problems, the IG has to know about whatever the commissioner of police wants to do in the state. There's no autonomy for the commissioner of police cannot just wake up in the morning and say that this is what we are doing in this state. That can happen in the UK. You don't expect the Midland police in the UK to now call somebody. No. They have to make a decision which is going to go in acquiescence with whatever the rule or law of that region says, without even consulting the prime minister. Even in Nigeria now, IG itself cannot make decisions until you contact the president, and that's why this system is not working. So now the IG or whoever the police chief in the UK does not even need to contact Rishnu. All he needs to check is the law book and look at what is applicable and make a decision. He can welcome opinion, yes, but there's a rule of law, and he's able to make decisions based on whatever the rule of Nigeria. You have to contact the go at the top, and I think that's one of the problems. So there has to be a series of arguments or series of mediation around whether we should go regional and which countries should be in what region and the modus operandi of those regions. Personally, I don't think that we should split because we have a strong our strengths in that different. We're different people. I agree. The Hausas are an entirely different persons from us, and that's not to say that they're a bad person. They are who they are. They are a peculiar tribe. We are who we are. The Yorubas are different. Even if you look at what it is that all of us do to survive, you cannot take it away from the Igbos. They are very business savvy. The Yorubas can go to school from tomorrow till this thing. The Hausas will tell you that they can. We are different personalities, and all of us have our. I'm not going to sit down here and tell us that we are all good in all aspects. We all have our shortcomings, and that's what makes us humans. So the Yorubas have their shortcomings. The Igbos have the things that they need to work on. The Hausas obviously have. So we can all pull up our strength together and, form a good country. But I still think that there has to be accountability at each state level. Somebody in Abuja cannot just be somewhere and be controlling what's going on in Anambra. Somebody cannot sit in Abuja and be telling us how we are going to spend the money that is coming from River State, because obviously River State is one of the states that produce that generates a very high income for Nigeria. So you're going to say that you want to go and spend Lagos money in Borno. I'm not saying that we cannot spend. This is still Nigeria, but I'm saying that there has to be accountability. It has to be that our go-to guys should be our governors. I don't have to be concerned about what Tinubu is doing. Like now, if you're a project manager, for example, you're not the one on site doing the job. You are overseeing and ensuring that the people under you are working in tandem with what has already been agreed in Constitution and our laws and our rules. You are not the one affecting the rules. You understand what I mean? You are only the one calling out people that are not working in relation to what the agreement is. So our governors are not doing enough. And that's not to say that they can't do enough. It's only to say that they are not charged to do enough. If light goes in a part of America, in Alabama now, nobody's going to call Biden now. Why would you call Biden? There's a governor in your state. In fact, in most of these places in the West that we live in, apart from the fact that there's a county which is local government, which represents the local government in Nigeria, you wouldn't even go and meet the original representatives. You go to the county, which is like the local government. They are the ones that will now be that. In Nigeria now, some states don't even do local government election. Where do we start from? So we need to charge either. We need to charge more than our governors to ensure that they are the ones doing anything. Right now, our governors are amputated, though. They cannot do much because the power still lies at the center. See, that power has to be distributed into all the 36 states, whereby governors can make informed decisions. However, there's a but in it, which is, would the governors be able to do what they should do? Would the governors, because we've seen it happen, even the little power that they give to some governors, in terms of this police, they're going to use police to arrest somebody. How are we going to do that? So that the governors don't just go haywire and be arresting people and just be formulating laws. What do we do about that? No, there's a solution to that. What do we do? Laws have to be, and it's not like we don't have laws in Nigeria. We do. Our problem has always been, it's just like in Nigeria. We don't have an income generating problem in Nigeria. It is the spending problem. We don't have an income problem in Nigeria. I'm not talking about as individuals. I'm talking as a country. We never have an income problem. Nigeria, whether you like it or not, if the world is in recession or we are not making money, Nigeria always has a way of working out their problems. But the problem now is this management of whatever we have. This is not to say that we generate a lot of money, but there's never been any time where we don't generate any money. There are some countries right now that they are stuck, that they don't have much. Nigeria, we were going through, even during COVID, Nigeria we're still making money in Nigeria. So we don't have an income problem. it is always this spending problem. Where do we allocate our resources? What do we do with the little that we have? So, in my opinion, which I stand to be corrected, and I would like to listen to your commentary, is we have to have gone past the level where we are even discussing about this regional, because obviously all the countries that I know in the world that are doing well have implemented the regional government one way or the other. Even in the US,
Yeah.
you would see that, of course, they will say the federal government, US is like a federal government like Nigeria. But when you look at the lines of how US is drawn, you will know that US is a regional government.
Yeah, you've said quite a lot, and I would like to also say that, funny enough, everything you said fall under this alliance thing. Nigeria is a Commonwealth country, which means we are still part of the British Empire, so to speak. If you read about Commonwealth, they will tell you that they don't have any oversight, whatever function, but at the end of the day, they do. They can sanction you, they can take you out of the Commonwealth as a way of sanction. And they've sanctioned Nigerians before, or Nigeria before. Now, America has said to Nigeria explicitly that Nigeria is not allowed to divide. Do you understand? So they've told us, Obama have said it, Nigeria, the diversity is our strength, without knowing that diversity still means in Igbo land we have different accents or intonation from state to state.
Yes.
Diversity still means even in Yoruba you still have different. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Diversity does not mean you should mix English and French people together in one country.
Yes.
But another thing is, because America doesn't want us to break up, that is one of the biggest problems.
Yes.
So if we shift to the east and they welcome the idea of us going regional or whatever, then of course it becomes a possibility. So most of the times, that's why our government will be saying one thing. When they get into power, it's as if their legs and everything is amputated. Because when you get into power, then you'll see that the real people who call the shots is not you.
Yes.
Are you getting it? So to answer your question in simple terms, it's part of why we should reason whether we are going to join this other alliance. But that said, as we are thinking of joining this other alliance as well, there might be some other issues that might pop up, because sometimes you might be trying to solve one problem and another one will emanate. And I don't think if we say, okay, let's play it neutral, if it's going to work. But like you said, and rightly so, whenever people hear about Nigeria breaking up into this thing, they think it's actually a bad thing. But this is what Gowon and Ojukwu discussed in Aburi in Ghana. But then they came back and Gowon went 180 on him and decided to go to war. But now, I think we have gone beyond. I mean, if you want to, I don't know how you are going to disintegrate the whole country. It's going to be more difficult. But that region which we've practiced maybe can be better if we, Elijah, welcome, if we can go back to that regional, because the model that the colonizers left for us was what they are practicing as well in their country.
Yes.
In the UK, you have Wales, you have Scottish, they have their own different languages and their monies, and you've got Northern Ireland, and then you've got England. So we should have had our own, Yoruba nation, Igbo nation, Ijaw nation, whatever nations, and then people will be respected based on where they come from. But that does not mean discrimination. We all attribute, like you said, when there was regional government, everybody was fighting to bring resources and send to the central. The central will see to the security of the whole place, but at the same time, we allow these countries to grow, manage their education and whatever, and what other stuff. Yeah. This is the model that should have worked. But in a case whereby your biggest alliance or your biggest, whatever, is saying, no, you can't do that, then your hands are tied, which is one of the reasons we should be looking into joining BRISC. But that said, we must have a way of, being able to talk to ourselves and understanding ourselves. So once an Igbo man is saying, I want to go my way, you say, okay, let's do a referendum. We do a referendum and you find out that even more Igbos want to stay. And that destroys that argument, because that's what the Scottish did. The Scottish came and said they want to go. The UK said, okay, let's have a referendum. They did a referendum. The Scottish said, no, we want to stay. That ended it. In Spain, the Catalonians want to go. In some other countries, there is all these, little people that wants to go. So it doesn't mean that anytime somebody wants to go is a bad thing. But you should find a way of saying truth to power, saying truth to yourself, and not listening to strangers or people from other countries who are only interested in your resources. Just like they have in Congo, these people are just taking their resources. They don't care about their progress. They've won me. I have 30 seconds to go, but it's been a pleasure listening and talking to you, Neo. We'll do it again, and hopefully we'll see what our government does. But things might go for the right or things might go for the wrong. If they make a wrong decision, because everybody's interested in Nigeria, because Nigeria is the world's most populous black nation, both in and out of Africa. So we have to be careful. Thank you so much. Please follow me on YouTube, like, comment, and share.